All right, welcome back to the Militia Madness MTG sealed set review podcast, which we said we were going to do alternating before the week of sealeds. So at this point, sealed week 1 has gone up. You saw that game where it was Morgan and I playing Alpha and Beta, which was exciting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Now we're on to Arabian Nights and Antiquities. We're doing these two at the same time because Arabian Nights has 78 cards and Antiquities has what? 80 something?
Let me scroll up and see. So 78 85. And 85.
Yep. So combined, they kind of make one set. We're not going to do that for every small set, but when they're right next to each other, it just makes more sense to
especially
do them both at the same time.
A small set nowadays is like 120 to 150 cards. This is almost half.
That's also true. That's also true. Like 6 packs of Born of the Gods doesn't necessarily dilute your sealed pool at the same time. And Born of the Gods was designed a little bit better for a sealed environment than this stuff does. So much like we did with the Alpha Beta podcast, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history. Very, very brief thing. And then we'll jump into cards we're hoping to open or cards that were good at the time. With later sets, Morgan and I could probably jump in with like cards that were good in standard, cards that were good in block. But this is I'm not even born yet.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, you and I don't come along. Well, I don't come along for another 3 years.
I don't come along until 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we get to starter 99, that's when I'll be.
Yeah, I know a little bit about like what the meta was at the time, but it was like competitive Magic was not what it is now back then. Like leaps and downs differently. Do you have these really quickly? Do you have these sort of by color or by name?
I have them colored and alphabetically, just so that we can talk about like I don't know, like what we're feeling about like decks we want to play and stuff like that based on color. Like,
yeah. So starting with Arabian Nights, based on 1001 Nights. Several of the characters from that story are in here. Scheherazade, which I want to bring up with Morgan. Can we just ban that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Scheherazade, I think, in terms of history, is the first thing that makes you play a sub-game.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, it just seems like it would not be fun. So if we do roll it, we'll just re-roll it similar to the anti-cards.
Yep. Re-roll your Scheherazades. Again, that's another thing we're introducing. If you roll a culturally insensitive card, I don't think you should re-roll it, but anti-cards and...
I think if they're rare, you could, but like... If they're like a common...
Yeah. Anti-cards and Scheherazade. And we might add more cards to that list. Just re-roll, because we're not playing for anti because it's stupid. Starting with white, I guess we'll talk about... starting with Arabian Nights.
Talking about insensitive.
Yeah. Well, white cards.
No, you just said white instead of white, which was very funny coming right off of that.
Oops. But Arabian Nights, I think this was supposed to be originally a standalone expansion, like a standalone game.
Yeah, because it would have had it back.
And there were supposed to be no basic lands printed in it, but because of production issues, there's a mountain. The only basic land printed in Arabian Nights was an Arabian Nights mountain. Funny enough.
It's a good art.
But yeah. So we're gonna start with. Again, we're not gonna talk about every card, but just like the highlights. Abu Jafar has Death Touch. That's cool. Kind of.
Yeah. It dies without If Abu dies without regenerating while participating in an attack or defense, all creatures blocking or being blocked by it are also killed. So yeah, if they multi-block or anything like that.
Yeah. But you can stick like later on. You can stick an allure on Abu Jafar and like wipe their board. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But again, not really worth talking about. But it's the first card in the set, so I thought I would. Army of Allah, I actually think is worth talking about. I think this card is going to make a pretty gigantic impact, and either of us will want to open one. Bearing in mind, not even the commons are guaranteed. Well, that's true with the whole series, as you can tell of my 3 bolts, Morgan's 0 bolts.
Yeah.
Even commons are not guaranteed to us. So Army of Allah, I think, is a really, really good playable card. I think Moorish Cavalry is also good. And then I think War Elephant. Those are like the cards that if I were in white or maybe trying to pivot to white, I would try to open. Piety is also not terrible. Um, what are your thoughts about white cards on Arabian Nights?
Let's see, like actually, like looking at them, like Camel, like if you want to try doing band stuff, it is like very little. King Suleiman, like if your opponent has like actually freeze, like you could sideboard it in because like those are pretty hard to deal with. Moorish Cavalry, yeah, not bad, like nice trampling. What does
This
Eye
card's
for an Eye
actually
actually do?
the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, instead that source deals that much damage to you, and Eye for an Eye deals that much damage to that source's controller.
Okay.
So if I bolt you, you get to then bolt me.
Okay, so very much what it says on the tin.
Yes.
An eye for an eye. Why didn't I
Yeah.
expect that?
Yeah. So it's like okay, but it's not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, my big ones that I would want to open. Spoiler, I already did. But I would be looking at Army of Allah, Moorish Cavalry,
Yeah.
War Elephant as like the white cards.
Yeah,
But
like Repentant Blacksmith is also not bad for sideboards because it can gum up the board nicely.
yeah, but it can also do nothing.
Well, yeah, but that's why I said sideboards.
Oh yeah. Although I don't think your white pool is there, and mine's definitely
Mine's
not.
really not.
No, white and alpha and beta was like really focused on like you needed to open a rare. Like if you open a wrath or a swords, but the creatures are just not there.
Yeah.
You okay to move on to blue?
Yep. Dan.
And Dan, probably not playable.
Yeah, not doing anything. But it's
Not right now.
But yeah,
A lot of the blue cards that require the opponent to have islands not playable right now because although I think my blue pool is really close, it's not going to be better than my black red deck, and I don't think your blue cards are going to be between Arabian Nights, Antiquities, and Legends. I don't think you're going to pull blue cards. They're going to be better than your black red deck. I think the first ban list is really going to have to push us off of the black red stuff for both of us. But Dan's not even playable there. It's not great. But
yeah.
playable in Forgetful Fish.
We got some actual good stuff here too, which is Flying Man.
Flying Man, and I actually think Giant Tortoise is probably okay.
Oh yeah, it can block for days.
Those two cards are really. I also don't hate Fish Liver Oil as like a sideboard card type thing.
It can just win the game if you like play into another blue deck, so like it's not the worst
have
sideboard
another
slot.
fish.
Island
That again,
Fish
a lot
is
of the
genius.
blue threats have this can't attack unless opponent has islands, and we don't have good ways of manipulating that right now. So I think they're all just going to be bad.
Also, I hate how hard these mana costs are to read, because that 4 is basically invisible.
Yeah. It is a 7-mana 6/8.
Oh man.
Which is not a bad blocker, but you don't want to be ramping into a wall.
Yeah.
You know, like, it feels real bad.
Yeah, because it can't attack unless your opponent has an island in play.
Yeah. Same with Merchant Ship. We can just ignore those two cards because neither one of us is in blue, which makes them pretty much unplayable.
Yeah.
There are better walls that you and I can play other than an O2 for one. We could play Drudge Skeletons. We could play, stuff like that. That's better than this. Old Man of the Sea, I think, does have potential, and would be good to pick up.
Oh yeah, like very nice value of just stealing some stuff.
These next three cards, I actually think would be pretty good.
I don't like Serendip Djinn. Like it can end games, but it does just like completely wreck your mana base if anything happens.
I mean, it doesn't though. It makes you sacrifice a land. Games go long, right? Like if you play this on 7,
it's a land every
5,
upkeep,
6.
but yeah.
Playing yours.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're vastly underestimating how bad creatures are in this. This is a way to kill people, and it hurts you less than something like Lord of the Pit does.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this card is good. Obviously, Serendip Efreet is like maybe the best blue card you could open
Oh yeah,
in this
Serendipity
set.
is insane.
Yeah, Serendipity nuts. And we'll make the blue decks that we play until it gets banned, probably. If it gets banned. Like, Charge is nuts.
Okay. And then Unstable
And then I
Mutation
actually
is
don't...
not too bad.
Yeah, I don't mind Sinbad and Unstable Mutation.
Yeah, I don't hate Sinbad either.
I don't love it. It's definitely going to get outclassed.
Oh yeah.
At some point.
Not the best looter, but it is something interesting.
Mm-hmm. It might be the worst looter ever printed.
I don't know about that. There is some like
It's up there.
high mana cost kind of things with them in the future.
At least the high mana ones let you keep it. This one, you literally, if it's not a land, just goes away.
Yeah, but you might want to be like filling your graveyard or anything like that, and it does it pretty unconditionally.
Yeah.
Since it's only tapping.
I mean, maybe it's better. It's better for you for sure. You have the Animate Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good for that. And then Unstable Mutation, I obviously think is fine. Requires a special type of deck, but decent. And then we get black cards, and most of these are just playable, if not all of them.
Kumbaj Witches is amazing.
Kumbaj Witches is great. El Hajjaj is not great, but Urg Raiders is a more aggressive 2-drop, which is nice.
Got a 3-1/1
Guardian Beast is fine. Basically gives everything indestructible and they can't gain control of them.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a 2/4. It's fine. The Ogress is decent.
Yeah, I
guess Ifrit.
Be nice on like curve.
Mm-hmm. Junin Ifrit is nuts. Honestly. 3-mana 3/3 flyer is just great. And then Juzam Jin is actually, at the time, considered the best creature ever printed.
Yeah, that makes enough sense. Because it's similar cost to Serendipity, but it's bigger, less evasive, but like it can be the Abyss.
You can also Dark Ritual into it, and you can't necessarily Dark Ritual into Serendipity. It matters. And then Cabal Ghoul is fine. And then we have Oubliette, which is, because of errata, the earliest card ever printed with the word phasing.
Yeah.
It phases it out. And then Sorcerer's Queen, I think, is very, very good. Like Royal Assassin #2 sometimes. This card's good. Yeah. I think either of us would be looking to pull as many of these black cards as possible.
Okay.
In terms of red cards, there's not a lot to speak of, but the things that are worth speaking of are pretty good. Ollie from Cairo, I actually think would be good against you specifically because you don't have like clean ways of just getting rid of it. But I think I would play it if I opened it. I don't know if I would play it if I were you.
I have Pestilence and stuff to kill it, so like I don't think that's like that great against me.
Yeah, but you only have Pestilence, right? You have two Pestilence. That's it, right?
Well, I also have fireballs and stuff like that, which I'm.
Yeah, that's true.
They have better targets, but like, this is still a 4-mana card, and it's like a style.
Yeah, that's true.
In the game.
Yeah, I was saying I have more cheap, efficient ways of.
And then actually,
that's true.
There is a card in my sideboard as well that deals with it explicitly, which I played, which is I can't remember what it's called, but it's the stick that does 1 damage for 3 mana.
Oh yeah, Rod of Ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, maybe I'm wrong. Aladdin is a card I might look into playing just to steal the JM Tome post sideboard games.
And then also there's some really nice artifacts in the next set coming up, so like Aladdin could be good for that.
Yeah, I don't think I've shown you any targets for it. Well, I have a Basalt Monolith.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I still got a 15-card sideboard, so if I pull one, I still might throw it in the sideboard depending on what happens.
Yep, sideboard space is very open. You can experiment there. Bird Maiden is fine. Desert Nomads is like an upgrade to Grey Ogres, I guess, if we're still on those. Yeah. Strictly better Grey Ogres, though.
Yep.
Her Jackal is there. Curd Ape I actually think is very, very good.
Oh yeah, Curd Ape's amazing.
Curd Ape's wonderful. Magnetic Mountain is like a sideboard card against blue decks, but I don't think either of you. I don't think
Either of you. There are two of me.
either of us can pivot into a blue deck. I mean, I'm close. I have Underground Sea and Tropical Island as well as a Tundra. So I'm pretty close to just being able to play blue as like a secondary color anyways. But that would require good blue cards, and I don't think you and I have them.
Yeah.
Certainly not the good creature base, I don't think.
Not super up on blue.
Yeah, and then the Maiji Jin and the Ifrit. I think their mana cost kind of pushes them out of contention alone.
Like also like putting your deck in the hands of coin flips is really awkward.
Yeah, it's not great. Rook Egg I actually think is playable. This card was so good it needed to be banned at one point. Believe it or not. But just in fair games, it's really, really decent.
Yeah.
Moving on to green, Desert Twister. Desert Twister is interesting because I think at this point in time, it's one of the only answers to a Resolved Pestilence. Think?
Yeah. Like there was like white enchantment removal, right? We had like disenchant.
I don't know.
I could have sworn disenchant.
I didn't open it.
But yeah. Yeah, Desert Twister is a good way to get rid of that though.
Mm-hmm. But it's not good, but it's like the only way that exists.
Yeah. Like
Drop of Honey I think is fine as like a sideboard card against like the swarm decks that exist in air quotes. Arnhem Gen is great. Would play it. Osmond Ogre is interesting if we have like this hyper aggressive style where we can like Gazban Ogre and Curd Ape and stuff like that, but I just don't think that deck exists yet. Just because the amount of aggressive plays that we have is just not there.
Yeah.
Like it's like Gazban Ogre, Curd Ape, woo, Gray Ogre. You know, like we can't. Yeah, we can't. No, the card's good. It's just that we can't follow through with that aggression consistently.
Yeah.
Is like my biggest problem. If Biff Ifrit, which I think is misprinted. Like I don't think that's the art it's supposed to have. If I remember this correctly. Or is there's a Serendip Ifrit misprint that has Isper Ifrit's art. That's what it was. Yeah, 4 mana 3/3 flyer, and then when it's in, and then it has the ability 1 green. It deals 1 damage to each creature with flying, and each player, and anyone can activate this ability. So it's not great, but like it requires a green to activate. So
yeah, so like if your opponent's not playing green, it can't be killed easily, and it's a 3/3 flyer for 4, which is pretty good.
Yep.
And then if you're also the only green deck, you can use it to kill your opponent's flyers very nicely.
Or just like use it as like the worst pestilence ever. You know, if Biff you for 2, if Biff you for 2.
Yeah.
Hit you for 5, basically, which is nice. Metamorphosis Naf's apps are not playable. Sandstorm might be. Singing Tree is a Fog 03. I don't think it's very good. And then Waiuli Wolf is like the best green 2-drop that we're going to have access to, so it's probably fine. And like the aggressive red-green decks that may or may not exist. Aladdin's Lamp is 10 mana, therefore I'm off it. I'll be real with you.
Yeah, Aladdin's Lamp is awful.
And so is his Ring.
I would be more likely to play Aladdin's Ring just because, like, if you do...
You wouldn't play either of them, let's be real. You wouldn't pay 16 mana to deal 4 damage.
No, but, like, with how long our games were going, like, sometimes I could see, like, okay, we got to 8 mana somehow, we'll play this, and then now deal 4 every turn.
Pestilence is just better than this in every single way.
Pestilence does hurt me as well, though, so if I get behind at all, like, it can be a little more awkward. But, like, if I'm, like, just starting to lose a board stall, this could get me back into it.
I do not imagine a world where this would make your main or side. Bottle of Suleiman has too much text.
I'm going to open 3 copies of all the Tron lands and play it and then screw you over.
Sure. You know what? If you're going to play 3 Tron lands and this in your deck, go ahead.
No, I said 3 copies of all the Tron lands. I'm going to play 9 Tron lands.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was opening 1 of each pretty consistently, but I was also opening 2. very consistently. Like one copy of each one. They're not guaranteed. It's just out of 3 packs. Bottle of Suleiman's a card flip card. It's terrible. Brass Man is probably fine, honestly. Just a 1/3 for 1 that,
He's a brass man.
does a thing.
Yeah, like he can block and do that.
City in a Bottle, I guess, is like fine.
Kills all the Arabian Nights cards.
Yeah, it depends on the Arabian Nights cards. And then a lot of the artifacts are just not good enough. That's true with a lot of things in early sets. They're just too expensive. To be real with you, there's the mountain. I told you, 1 basic land. And then we can get into the lands. First of all, we have Desert, which is the first common non-basic land, I believe, ever printed.
Yeah.
There it is in all its glory. It's a thing, I guess you could play. The real big hitters, though, I think, are Bazaar of Baghdad, City of Brass, Library of Alexandria. In a different order than that. Probably Library of Alexandria, City of Brass, Bazaar of Baghdad. I would say that's like the top.
Yeah, Library of Alexandria was just nuts if you can get it.
Mm-hmm. City of Brass would be pretty good now. Just allowing you to play some better cards,
it'll
honestly.
Also get better over time when you can play like a 3-color deck like more reliably because of it.
And I think Bazaar of Baghdad is one of those cards that if you have, it's just going to get better and better and better and better and better and better and better.
It'll become best when we finally hit Dredge.
Maybe even before that. Like, there's a lot of things that just care about the graveyard. It helps with flashback. It helps with just a bunch of random. There's just the graveyard is a resource through all of Magic's history. This card is just going to get busted when we get to Dredge, but it'll be good probably a couple sets before that, I think.
Yeah, I just don't think it'll be like good enough because you'll have to build your whole deck around it a lot of the time because of like.
Well, I mean, those graveyard cards are probably just going to be good anyways, right? Like just being able to use your graveyard as a resource, and the other person.
Well, yeah, but you're also taking your turn off of a mana because Bazaar Baghdad doesn't produce mana.
That's true. But I mean, you don't have to play it in turn 1. You just play a normal game and then use Bazaar Baghdad later to set up some stuff. I agree. It gets busted when it gets to Dredge, but I think it'll be a playable card before that point. Right now, it's not. I think we both agree.
Yeah.
Maybe for you. Again, that Animate Dead.
No.
Is it just Animate Dead that you have?
I think so, and like, I think that's like forcing like that kind of strategy like is going to be way too aggressive for like 1 or 2 cards. Like you want to have some consistency to it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it depends, right? Because your opponent's not necessarily on a good deck either. I think in these earlier days you can kind of afford to like play for the nut sometimes, but the fact that it doesn't tap for mana, it really, really does make it worse than City of Brass and Library of Alexandria. Library of Alexandria is just the top of the peak. This card's nuts. If you open it, you're going to play it, and you're going to continue playing until the opponent bans it, right? Like,
yep.
Right. I think that's it for Arabian Nights, unless you have anything else to say about anything.
Island of Whack-Whack could be played in the sideboard pretty nicely, which is not too bad.
Yeah. It's not unplayable, but pretty close.
But, yeah. That's about it for like the extra edition there.
Yeah, and then Desert. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Desert.
Desert's fine to play. Like, it helps your creatures trade up.
Yeah. Right. Antiquities. So, Antiquities, I'll give you guys a little history about this, was an artifact set.
Yep.
And starts the story of the Brothers' War.
Yep.
Which is Mishra versus Urza, which we actually returned to in our time of playing in the set. Brothers War?
Yeah, in the set Brothers.
This is what the set was called?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are occasional mentions to it in like other like core sets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. We get to see the resolution at some point. Not much to say about a lot of these cards, honestly. Some of them are just playable from their stats because I don't expect with 3 packs a lot of the artifact hate to matter. Just because, I mean, it'll be nice to have for down the road, but a lot of the artifacts we have access to now are clunky and expensive or busted. So, and the busted artifacts are not creatures. Like the busted artifacts I want answers to are Black Lotus and Soul Ring. They're not artifact creatures. A lot of the artifact creatures are just really, 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 really clunky. And again, with only 3 packs of this, it's going to be hard to pull the good ones. So a lot of just the artifact recursion will be good later on, sure, but right now it's just not. I think white is pretty much a wash up. We have some completion of certain cycles that in that would be nice to pull, like Cop Artifact might be good later on. Artifact Ward might be good later on. Argivian Blacksmith is actually not a bad 3-drop, but apart from those 3 cards, everything in white, I'm kind of out on.
Yeah, none of this looks amazing.
Yeah, no, nothing in the set really looks amazing. I mean, there are some cards that will be good later. Transmute Artifact, for example, like having an Artifact Tutor is pretty decent. But like it's just not great. The set is.
And then Hercules can also be like a really good sideboard card later.
Which one?
Hercules Recall.
Hercules Recall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sideboard card later would be nice to pull, but you wouldn't play it this week.
No, but it's like just thinking about like stuff that you do kind of want, because like also a Tog's in this set, so that could like get to a critical mass eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Tog would be nice.
But yeah, I guess going back in color orders, and anything in black, since we kind of like were like.
No, it's really not. It's just everything is so reliant on artifacts that it's just like like even Yawgmoth Demon, which is like a 6-mana 6/6 flying first strike, is not like Juzam Jin. If you don't have an artifact, it can't attack. It's not like it pings you for 2. It's like, no, it just literally doesn't do anything. So yeah, no, black. I'm pretty much out on black in this set, to be real with you. Gate to Phyrexia might actually be an okay sideboard card. Like that's basically what you're picking out from all of the colors is sideboard stuff. There are great ways to deal with artifacts in this set, but apart from that, there's really nothing in the colored cards really worth talking about, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, like a Tog is really good generally, like in the future.
Not right now.
Yeah,
it's pretty horrible right now.
Yeah, but it's still good to like mention these before we like get past them.
Yeah, it's either sideboard cards or a Tog in terms of colored cards, where a Tog is going to get better later on, but right now it's pretty abysmally terrible.
Let's see.
In terms of it's like you probably play it. Just a 2-mana 1/2 is actually not a terrible stat line, but apart from that, it's not really doing anything.
Yeah, and then like Shatterstorm will also be like super efficient, like artifact removal eventually as well.
Mm-hmm. In the sideboard for sure.
Yep.
And again, there are some payoffs for being really, really heavy in artifacts, but we just can't do that reliably. And in green, there's some curve stuff, like actually Argivian Treefolk being a 3/5 for 5. If you can ramp into that, it's probably okay. Argothian Pixies being a 2-mana 2/1 is actually really well statted. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, at the time.
A 2-mana 2/1 still like in limited. That's a fine card.
Nowadays you'd want it to be a 2/2, but like.
Yeah, but 2/1s are perfectly fine. I've won tons of pre-releases with 2/1s in my deck.
But like in modern times, like if you get a 2/1 for 2, it'll have an ability that'll make up for like the lack of 1 stat.
Yeah, but we won't be there for over a decade. Like way more than a decade.
Yeah, I'm just.
You're going to get 2/1s with downside because they're too good.
Oh yeah, you just like said something about like
modern design, sure, but we're not there
nowadays,
yet.
and I was just
we will continue to not be there yet for 20 years. That's about it in green. Is the Pixies and the Treefolk. I mean, obviously, Crumble is a decent sideboard card. Just destroy target artifact. It sorts the Plowshares for artifacts, which is fine.
Yeah.
About it in terms of Colorless stuff. Ashnod's Altered is one of those cards that is obviously very, very good, but will not be good right now.
And it might not be good ever for like a lot of us because of how limited it works out. Where it's like you need to have a very synergistic deck to like make it go to peak performance.
I don't know. Both of us have access to Fireball. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It does not with Drain Life, obviously, but I mean, later on, again,
Yeah, but
when
if you have to use your fireballs to survive, it can get a little bit awkward.
well, yeah. I mean, if you have to use your good cards to do other good cards, then your good cards
Well, yeah,
aren't
but like
good.
for
But I
reference
think
for me, I have basically no removal outside of my fireballs with like what I currently have
true,
and such.
true. But that's why I'm saying it's going to get better later because eventually those gaps in your deck are going to get fulfilled, and hopefully, like you ramping into like an X-Spell might not be terrible. Plus, the creatures are just awful. So I have no problem throwing my creatures into a fireball at this point. And then we have kind of the first equipment printed, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
And Ashnod's Battle Gear and Ashnod's Transmigrant. These cards are fine, but they're not great. Battering Ram is just like, no. Bronze Tablet is an anti-card, so we're not playing it. Candelabra of Tawnos. This is a combo card that is not going to be good for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
With all the pieces. It's one of those
Well,
things
unless
where...
you get like a full Tron set and really start abusing it now and then, like, hey, you can start Aladdin's ringing.
Yeah, you're all in on this terrible card. But I think the like high tide stuff is going to be hard to put together, and all that kind of stuff is just going to be difficult. Obviously, if you hit the nut, then it's good. But this card to me just needs a lot of moving parts, and I think it's going to be hard to do that for longevity, especially since if you win, then at the end of the 5 things, you get 3 cards banned out of your deck. So I think it's really, really going to be hard to maintain something like this for a long stretch of time. But it might be a thing where it has like one good week and then it gets banned, and then moving on. Clay Statue, I actually don't think is terrible. Regenerate is busted.
Yeah, like it is a 3/1, which makes it a little more awkward, but it's not bad.
No. Again, cards are just so much worse now. Clockwork Avian is one of those cards where I don't think it's going to be great, but I think it's probably going to be fine. Colossus of Sardia, no, just way too much mana.
Yeah.
And if we're ramping mana, I think you and I are both on like the drain life stuff, and it just is really hard to fit both of those into the thing. Coral Helm is okay. Cursed Rack, I actually think is, if you can put together Cursed Rack and the Rack. Yeah. If you can put together a hand attack strategy, go ahead, right? But I don't think you will be able to. Dragon Engine, I actually think, is a perfectly fine card.
Yeah, like you can fire breathe up. Like I was playing something pretty similar with the Shades last week, and like they did pretty dang good.
Is it Colorless Shade? Doesn't buff toughness, but you know.
But it does start with 3
okay.
instead of 1, which is helpful to that.
That's true. It is an artifact, so like, you know. Might Stone, I actually think is fine, honestly.
Oh, we skipped a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Feel free to read them. They're not good. Sheldon's Cane just reshuffles your graveyard. Golgothan's Silex blows up everything from Antiquities, and Grapeshot Cavalry deals 1 damage to a flying creature. Well,
yeah.
They exist. Ivory Tower is also like a card that's like, I remember my uncle who did play Magic when this came out was talking all about his like Ivory Tower, and he just gained so much life and blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it's very good.
Look, man, if you get the Library of Alexandria into your Ivory Tower, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. If you pull the rare in the 3 packs that you're
I'm gonna pull Library of Alexandria, and it's gonna piss you off.
You're also not guaranteed rares. It should be noted. So Jalem Tome, I think, is a perfectly fine replaceable for JMD Tome on my end, to help catch up on that end if that happens. Millstone, as much as I love win conditions that don't do anything, I think even at this point our decks are too. Our decks just have like I don't think you can do that. I think both of our decks they do something that you can't just sit there
Yeah.
and do nothing. You'll die. You'll kill me with pestilence, then I'll kill you with same thing, right? Like we can't just sit and do nothing.
Yeah, and then notably, like with how it looks, if you don't know what a mono artifact is, it would be actually pretty okay. But because of how mono artifacts work, it actually has a tap ability, so you can only use it once a turn.
We will be using the eroded version. Well, actually, that's just what
it's
it does.
how it worked back then. You just had to know what a mono artifact was.
Yeah, which is stupid. War Machine is fine.
Big.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Onulet is actually just like a fine curve play. 3-mana 2/2 is on rate. Ornithopter is one of those cards that I have said for years is unplayable in sealed pools nowadays. But maybe in the early years you might be able to do something with it. It might not be that bad, but I don't see us being able to do much with it right now. And then second page of artifacts. Primal Clay, I think, is going to be very good.
Oh yeah, Primal Clay.
If we open it. Yep. Yeah. Very versatile. Very, very good at whatever plan you needed to be at. Su-Chi, being a 4-mana 4/4, is kind of one of the biggest creatures around, and it doesn't have a downside because mana burn doesn't exist. So, love a Su-Chi. Talking about the rack. There it is. Tetravis is 4/4 flyer for 6. Is not bad. Triskelion and Urza's Avenger, I think, are both pretty decent. Just cards. Yoshin Soldier is here. And then basically all of the lands are going to be some level of playable or really, really good, depending on
all the
luck
lands are
and abilities later on.
Like Mishra's
Factory
could be good if you get insane stuff, but Mishra's Factory is just insane by itself. Sorry, I cut you off with that.
Mishra's Factory is like Mishra's Factory and Strip Mine are debatably the ones that would, like, if you open them, you're just gonna play them.
Yeah. I don't know if I would just throw in Strip Mine at this stage, but yeah, just because if you can tone your deck to be a little bit more aggressive, so that you are like really punishing your opponent with the lack of land, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's fair. You'd play Mishra's Factory 100% of the time if you opened it, though. Workshop, maybe not so much, depending, but Workshop is going to be one of those cards that, it's the best vintage deck the last time I checked. So, that says something. And then Urzatron is here. This will not be our last attempt at Urzatron by a wide margin.
Oh, yeah, it gets reprinted so much.
Yep.
And
sure does.
And technically non-reprints, that's because they're only partially reprints.
Mm-hmm. They get printed in a lot of core sets, if I remember correctly. But
oh yeah, because especially the main ones they get reprinted are the blank editions. So 8th edition, 9th to the 10th edition, which are effectively core sets. They just weren't called core sets yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's how are we doing on time?
Let me take a look. We are at 39 minutes.
Okay. I feel like we can call it there. Yeah, this one wasn't as long just because there's just, especially with Antiquities, there's just so many cards that we wouldn't play in a million years.
Yeah.
The only way that they'd be put into our deck is if we started here. We have 12 packs to kind of offset this. The one question I did want to ask, we can have it on camera, because again, this is an evolving rule set, right? To whoever loses, do you still want to do 3 packs of one of these sets, or do you want to do Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I was just thinking like pick like 3 packs of like one of the sets or like your combination.
Okay. I was just curious. It's worth having on film what we said. But I think the doing 2 sets back to back is probably not gonna happen a lot going forward.
Yeah, like
Because Legends will be its own thing. I think the Dark will be its own thing. Fallen Empires will be its own thing. Fourth Edition will be its own thing.
will
Ice Age
Homelands
will
be
be
its
its
own
own thing.
thing?
Hmm?
Will Homelands be its own thing?
Homelands has 115 cards, so yes, Homelands will be its own thing.
Okay. I do know the packs are half size, so we will probably have to open double the packs.
No, because we've already set a precedence. We're not doing that.
Well, what I mean that is like they are literally 8 cards per pack.
Yeah. So is
Are these 8 cards per pack?
I think Arabian Nights or Antiquities is.
Hmm.
Yep. Or Antiquities is only 8 cards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Arabian Nights. Arabian Nights is also only 8 packs.
8 cards per pack. Okay, yeah. Then, maybe we could have done 6 of each of these. Damn.
I mean, I filmed my deck opening, but if you wanted to add more packs, I can do that too. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I'd be fine with doing 6 packs of each of them then, just so that like it feels like they're
Right.
full on.
I need to do another pack opening of 3 and 3.
Yep.
Okay.
And you guys saw it here live.
Yeah. So this is Militia Madness signing out.